22nd of March, and as per government directive, we had been closed for fresh arrivals on the 14th of March. So post this lockdown period, long stretches of gaps of just having the property with only the staff here, it's been great to have finally had few guests visit us. So post-lockdown, our first set of guests were people who were looking to have a family gathering. They were from Cochin, but they had a second home about 40 kilometers from us. So this was a group of 15, an elderly mother, a brother, sisters and their family traveling together on spending some time together after long stretches of staying away from not being able to meet each other. So they had this gathering at their second home for a couple of days, and then the last day was meant to be with us. The guests were with us only for a night. They reached the property a little before lunchtime, and the following day they left only by about 5 after tea and snack. They were just looking to extend their family get-together, which was at their second home close to us, and then looking to spend some quality time with each other at our property. So one of the guests had stayed with us earlier, so they knew of the property, and I think being in the neighborhood, they were aware of what we were. So yes, they were very aware of what our offerings were. At Windermere, we had to have the regulatory requirements mandated by the health department, guidances from Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Home Affairs. So all of us had personal protection, so gloves, masks, and then on arrival you would monitor temperatures. In fact, the guests were also given a kind of a declaration that needed to be sent 12 hours in advance of arrival, stating their history of travel and their health aspects as well. And when here, we have completely avoided the check-in procedure. It was done prior to arrival itself. And the whole property, fortunately, we were able to give it exclusively to the family. So they were able to use the garden, the dining spaces exclusively to them. The staff had to maintain a social distance from the guests. We were trying to restrict it in a way that there were only 2 members of our staff who would directly meet with all these guests at time of dining or in-room dining, and also during arrival and checkout. So we were looking to move from high human touch to how we can care more for the traveler this time. Most of the staff that I have at the property had been mostly staying in-house at each of our properties, so seeing each other was quite often. So it was a pleasant change to have new people in the property, and I think it also was in some way uplifting their spirits, as in from these days of very gloominess of an uncertain future. It was nice to have, and I would imagine that we had few trials about how we would prepare ourselves. The post-lockdown time is how we would receive guests. We'd done the drills, but there was a certain sense of nervousness when we were to receive our guests, but I think we all did okay. First set of guests that we had, they were here only for a day, and a day is too limited a time, I think, for any destination. I remember them having gone for a morning walk prior to breakfast on a little birding trip that we had organized with our naturalist. Otherwise, it was about them having family time. With these measures, I would imagine, I think people had anticipated the considerable change that hotels would have at these times. So prior to their arrival, we had informed them in the kind of declaration that we'd sent out that they were to be carrying masks and protective, and we would have certain checks in place and what our offerings would be, like no swimming pool. So they had anticipated all this when they were arriving, and they were absolutely cooperative about it. So I think the guests were very happy here. They loved being in nature and the scenery. I think they were very appreciative of our viewpoint. And I would imagine having the whole place exclusively to them gave a great experience. And I'm wondering whether into future it is going to be a sought after requirement for many such families and groups to have small hotels which can give out their spaces exclusively to them. And I would imagine, their final closing line was they were very happy and see you soon, and they're making the next trip. So that's a very positive.